Hello, everybody. This is Jetman, and another live stream about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and something that I love, as you all know. Uh, I'm one of the things I love the most is Marvel Cinematic Universe, and just another talk at MCU. Uh, I get it the last time. This time I got a topic. I'm going to talk about my top 10 best MCU villains and top 10 worst MCU villains. And I just, at first, I just want to say, it's just my opinion of of the top 10 of each. I don't, discredit anybody's opinion. I mean, it's just my opinion, and you can disagree with me, you can agree with me, you can hate my guts. It's fine. It's just my opinion, and would like to say that there are some villains on the list that I am including the Netflix Marvel shows because they are now canon in the MCU. So that means Daredevil, the original is Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Defenders, Punisher, and Iron Fist. So and I have 10 worst, 10 best. I'll start with the number 10 best villain, and then I'll go over the 10 number 10 worst villain and work my way up to number one. And I hope you enjoy the stream. I hope I get some people coming in, and I hope we have some fun. This is all for fun. I mean, it's, like I said, it's just my opinion. I love the MCU, and I just wanted to showcase this list. So let's get started with the top 10 best MCU villains, the top 10 worst MCU villains. Number 10, the number 10 best villain in the MCU, as far as I'm concerned, is King the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors. I think in the Loki series, as he was called He Who Remains, and then onto Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, I think he was, as much as I like Ant-Man 3, King the Conqueror really did help that movie. In my opinion, to be a somewhat decent movie. I mean, and I think Jonathan Majors pulled it off. I mean, I was kind of skeptical because they changed his race, but but I think Jonathan Majors pulled it off. I feel bad that he got fired. I did hear he might get rehired, but still, I think all in all, I mean, if you watched Loki season one and Loki season two, as He Remains and Victor Timely, and then in the Ant-Man 3, and that post credit scene for the Council of Kings, I just think he did a brilliant job as King, and you know, and I was hoping down the road that we'd see more King, but of course he did get fired. I'm kind of hoping he gets rehired, but you don't know with Disney. So so now we will go on to the the 10th worst villain of the MCU in my opinion, and that would be High Evolutionary from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I just think they could have done a lot more with his character. I mean, I know they did a lot with his character and with the whole Counter Earth and Rocket Raccoon's backstory, which I thought was great. But I think all in all, I mean, I'm not mad that they killed him off. But did they? I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe they. I'm not sure if they killed him off or not. I know Rocket took his face off, but I just think they could have done a lot more with his character. Um, I mean, if you watch, I don't know about the comics, but if you watch the X-Men original X-Men cartoon from the '90s, he was originally so, somehow connected to Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So that I thought maybe they could bring that back into the MCU. But all in all, I just think they wasted his character a little. Um, but the whole backstory with him and Rocket Raccoon and P8913 and Lila and his friends there, it was a good backstory. I just think they wasted his character. Now on to the the number nine best MCU villain, in my opinion, I believe is Alexander Pierce from Winter Soldier, played by Robert Redford. I thought Robert Redford as a great actor as Robert Redford is, he really brought a great villain in Winter Soldier. I mean, he was the main villain as he led Hydra, and and it was a kind of a surprise, that he was hanging. I just think Robert Redford. And you think of Robert Redford, you don't think of a villain. You think of Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid. You think of the Sting. You think, you know, ordinary people as director, and so you don't think of a villain. But I thought bringing him in as Alexander Pierce, I think was a brilliant move because he really brought um, a good portrayal of of the character, and to one of the best movies in the MCU, with Winter Soldier, of course, but directed by the Russo brothers. But he just he brought a villainous role to that role as a villain, and and I want to apologize. I'm still getting used to this and stuttering uh, but Alexander Pierce I thought was great, and I think they brought him back for a cameo in Endgame when they went back in time. And I thought that was a bit of a surprise, but that was a lot of surprises in game. So and we move on. Before we move on, I'd just like to say I'm sorry I don't have pictures or slides of these of the characters. I'm new to this streaming thing, so I don't know how to do that. So sorry about that. But let's go on to the number nine worst villain in the MCU. And in my mind, I mean, that would be the character Hulk King in the She-Hulk Attorney at Law Disney Plus series. Now, not a lot of people hated the show She-Hulk, but I didn't hate it. I mean, it wasn't the best show, but I don't think gets I don't think it gets the credit that it get. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was better than some. I mean, in my mind, I'd actually watch She-Hulk. I would actually watch She-Hulk before, say, Echo or the Turtles movie, even though I like the Turtles. But the one thing I didn't like about the show is the Hulk King villain. It was stupid. I mean, I know they erased it at the end with the fourth wall break with She-Hulk, but still, it was a dumb. It, it was just what wasn't needed. I mean, the guy was an idiot. I mean, because he was pissed because she dumped him in a date, and he wanted to get her blood so he could become a Hulk King. I mean, and I'm glad they did the fourth wall break, and and then another thing on the side of that is the whole wrecking crew in that show that ruined the wrecking crew. I mean, that is not the wrecking crew from the comics that I remember. I mean, they're not bumbling idiots with Asgardian weapons. so um so that it was not a good villain in that show. And so so we'll move on to the eighth best villain in the MCU, and this is the villain that I think you saw him early in the MCU in Phase One, and then they brought him back, and that's the Abomination, Emil Blonsky. We saw him in the Incredible Hulk against Ed Norton's Hulk, and he was great. I mean, Tim Roth brought the Abomination to life, and I feel that. And then they brought him back. When did the first time they brought him? They brought him back in Shang-Chi as a cameo fighting Wong in Hong Kong, and then and then they brought him back again in She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, which was one of the better things in that show. Um, and I love the part where Bruce Banner says to Jennifer Walters that I was a totally different person back then. So it just I love how they go back to those things and they bring back villains. And Abomination, I mean, he was kind of he wasn't as bad as he was in Incredible Hulk because of the whole spa thing he created, but it was still a good role. And I wouldn't be surprised if they brought him back again. Uh, Maybe in one of the Avengers movies coming up. But Tim Roth's portrayal of Abomination, I know it was CGI, but still, it was just he brought a good role to that part. And the number 8 worst villain in the MCU is, and it's not, and is Gore the God Butcher from Thor: Love and Thunder, which um, was a decent movie in itself, but Gore the God Butcher did not help it. I don't think he was a good villain. Um, and I'm one of the rare people in this world that hates Christian Bale as an actor. I don't think he's a good actor. So to watch him as Gore, and it wasn't good acting, and then the whole dollar thing, and it just it wasn't for me. That villain, and knowing it was played by Christian Bale, and I'm not a fan of Christian Bale, I just it just didn't do it. He just wasn't a good villain. And I mean, in the comics, I've seen what he looks like, and he could have been so much more. And killing all the gods, and and a lot of people hate Love and Thunder. I don't hate it. I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but it's a lot better than Thor: The Dark World, which I hate, which I'll get to later. But I just it just wasn't a good Gore the God Butcher. So now we go to the 7th best MCU villain, and that's going to be a recent villain that I just watched in Captain America: Brave New World, and that's Red Hulk. I thought, I mean, and I can't really say much about Harrison Ford because it was CGI, but I thought the Red Hulk, even the CGI Red Hulk, it looked good. I mean, it looked like Harrison Ford in the face, and it was a good villain. I mean, the way they portrayed it, but the way they brought it in um, as a villain, how he's the president and he turns into Red Hulk, and it was just the way they brought in Red Hulk. I thought it was great, and the movie was good. I thought the movie. I think the MCU was coming back. I know a lot of people have said that it's on a downward spiral. I don't agree. I think that MCU is actually making its way back up. You gotta watch the MCU as a fan of comic books, and and if you like Marvel, you're gonna like the movies and the TV shows, and like I do, because I'm a fan, and I think Red Hulk was spot on to me. If he would be higher if there wasn't other villains on this list in the top 10 best villains. He would be higher, but there's some ahead of him that I put that I could not put Red Hulk ahead of. So the number 7 worst villain in the MCU, and I have to give to Dreykov in the Black Widow movie, played by Ray Winstone. It just I mean, it didn't do it for me. And the movie, and as much as I love Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh and David Harbour, they were all good in the movie. The movie was just the Dreykov villain just didn't do it for me. He just it wasn't his acting so much. It's just the character. I don't know. It's just I don't have much words to say about it because I don't think it was a I don't know. They could have done so much better. They could have made Taskmaster a better villain, maybe the lead villain instead of doing the Red Room, and with you know, I just he didn't do it for me in the villain. I think it kind of spoiled the movie for me because he just wasn't a good villain in Black Widow, and I like I mean had high hopes because I love Scarlett Johansson. She's beautiful. So uh, so then we go to the number six best MCU villain, and this is going back to the Netflix Marvel shows, like I said, and Jessica Jones. I'm giving number six to Kilgrave from Jessica Jones because I just rewatched the first season because I'm binge watching the MCU right now on Disney Plus, and David Tennant really did play a good Kilgrave. I mean, he really gave it his all in the part, and it's too bad they killed him off. I know they probably, because they could bring him back now, because they're bringing back Jessica Jones and Born Again season two, and they could bring Kilgrave back. But it's too bad they killed him off because he really did a great job in the role. Purple Man is what he's called, his alter ego, and I just think. I mean, we watched the first season, and he just really did play a good part in that role, and I just, yeah, I was surprised they killed him off. I thought maybe they could save him if but now that the shows are canon in the MCU, and there's so much they could do, and I'm really disappointed that he's dead. The number six worst MCU villain I'm going to give to Aldrich Killian from Iron Man 3, and I just again the same thing with Dracoff. I just he just the whole fake Mandarin thing, and that really I didn't put him on the list, but Trevor Slattery really pulled that off, that role, the fake Mandarin. I know Aldrich Killian was the head guy, but he just I don't really think Guy Pearce is that good of an actor, and I don't think he did the role any justice. I don't know. I don't know the character from the comics because I've never really read an Iron Man comic, and he just he just didn't do the role justice, and so that's why he's on this list at number six. He just the whole extremist thing, and the girl there that dated Tony in the past. I can't think of her name, but and they how they got together, and I mean, it could have been a lot better, and maybe if Favreau had directed it, and maybe it would have been better, but I just didn't think it was well written. And so the number five best MCU villain, I'm giving to Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin from the Daredevil series and Hawkeye and Echo and all those things he was in Born Again. I think D'Onofrio. I mean, as much as I like Michael Clark Duncan and Ben Affleck's Daredevil, Vincent D'Onofrio is killing it as Kingpin or Wilson Fisk. He just he's killing it. There's nothing more I can say. He's just and a lot of people don't like Born Again, but I do, of course. And there's a couple of episodes I don't like, but the one episode of Born Again I don't like is the bank heist one, and a lot of people like that one. But still, it's just my opinion. But Vincent D'Onofrio, there couldn't be a better person to play Kingpin in the MCU, and I don't think I can name an actor that could play him better. He's killing it. He is the quintessential Kingpin, and nothing against Michael Clark Duncan because he was a good Kingpin in the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck, but um, but Vincent D'Onofrio, again with Red Hulk, I could have put Kingpin higher on this list, but there's villains on this list that I just couldn't move down below Kingpin because they're just too good. So the number five worst MCU villain is going to give to Dar Ben from the Marvels. Never even heard of the character until this movie. Um, but not only, I mean, the movie is not one of my favorites. It's not a good movie. I mean, I know I love the MCU, but there are movies I can dislike in the MCU, like Dark World, and the Marvel is just not. I mean, other than Kamala Khan, the movie is just not good. It's one of the shortest movies I've ever seen in the MCU, and the villain Dar-Ben is just one. I can't. I don't have words. She's just not a good villain. The actress overacts, and there's not much more to say. It doesn't help the movie. I mean, like I said, Kamala Khan kills it in the movie. Kamala Khan is great in the role of Miss Marvel. She was good in her show, and she was good at. That was the only good thing about the Marvels. And Dar Ben is just one of the worst things I've ever seen in that movie. It's just not. She could have been higher, but there's some villains I couldn't put below her. So that's enough there. Number four best MCU villain. I'm gonna give to Deadpool and Wolverine's Cassandra Nova. I think Emma Corrin killed it. I mean, and they brought her backstory in with Professor X being her brother, and she just I think I mean a lot of people didn't like it, but I thought she killed it as Cassandra Nova. She was a good villain. She was a little over the top sometimes, like at the end with the whole thing she wanted, but all in all, she was a good villain. I mean, when she took that skin off Human Torch there, Chris Evans, it was good special effects and just the way she interacted with Deadpool and Logan. It was just she was really good, and I didn't really know the character when I went into the movie, and now I'm like, are you gonna give us a figurine of Cassandra Nova? Because I kind of want one. So, uh, so the number four worst MCU villain, I'm gonna give the Taskmaster from Black Widow and Thunderbolts, and the Taskmaster in Black Widow is not the Taskmaster that I know of in the comics. It was no, and nothing against the race, the gender swap. I know they do that all the time, but this one was just the whole backstory of Taskmaster. It um, just seemed like bad writing. It just wasn't a good character. I mean, like I said, the movie was decent, but not great because I love ScarJo. But Taskmaster was just not good. And as far as her being in Thunderbolts, she was in it for what 10 minutes. She was in Thunderbolts for 10 minutes. She got killed. So I think killing her off in Thunderbolts was one of the best things for the future of the MCU because she just wasn't a good Taskmaster. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought another Taskmaster into the MCU. I don't know. So I can't see the future. So the number three best MCU villain is Killmonger from Black Panther, played by Michael B. Jordan. He was fantastic. I mean, um, he was almost as good as Killmonger as Chadwick Boseman was as T'Challa because Killmonger was great, and a lot of people agree with me. I've heard a lot of on the internet. He's one of the best. Like I said, the top three. He's in my top three of best MCU villains. He killed it. He played it well. I mean, T'Challa and wanting to fight T'Challa in the fight, the big king, and I can't say much more. I mean, and then I know it was an alternate universe and it was a cartoon, but he even killed the backstory for Killmonger in the What If episode, where he saved Tony Stark from being uh, saved Tony Stark. So yeah, Killmonger is in my top three, number three. Uh, so the number three worst MCU villain, I'm giving it to Darren Cross from Ant-Man. And to be honest, it's not so much his portrayal in Ant-Man, but his portrayal in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania when they brought him back as MODOK. That was awful. That was even worse. I don't know that MODOK in that movie was a disgrace to the character in the comics because they made him an idiot. He's supposed to be this like leader of AIM in the comics, and they made him an idiot. I mean, and then he at the end says, "Oh, I'm an Avenger." It was just stupid. I mean, if you're gonna waste a villain like that, then don't bother even putting him in the movie. But save him some. don't bother even putting him in the movie. Save him for something else, or another movie or another show. Don't waste him in a stupid role like this and make him an idiot. That's all I got to say about that. And like I said, it's mostly because of Modoc, not because of the Darren Cross Yellow Jacket and Ant-Man. It's more for Modoc. Uh, that was just, I mean, I think that actually ruined that movie for me. Is that Modoc was just, and then so now we're at the top two of each category. And number two, now this might be a surprise to you because a lot of people probably put him number one, but number two for me for the best MCU villain is the Mad Titan, Thanos, the guy that snapped his fingers and you know made 50% of the population disappear. Um, he's number two for me. I mean, he's a start off right from the post credit scene in Avengers till the to Avengers Endgame. It just every movie he was in. I mean, he wasn't in a lot of. I mean, he wasn't in. He was in maybe 10 minutes in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in the post credit scene for Avengers. He wasn't in, and then Infinity War and Endgame were his movies. And I just he's number two for me because there's a villain ahead of him that I just think I couldn't put him. I had to put him at number one. But Thanos is just number two for me. Uh, so yeah, he's just yeah. It's Thanos. He's the Man Titan. He snaps his fingers with the Galton, and so it just kind of led up to Endgame, and I hear they're even thinking about bringing him back. I don't know how, but probably alternate the multiverse. But so the number two worst MCU villain. This might get a lot of backlash from people, but is Whiplash from Iron Man 2. Um, Whiplash the Whiplash in the comics was a really good villain, and I think they wasted him in Iron Man 2. I mean, and I don't even like Mickey Rourke. I mean, Mickey Rourke is a decent actor, but he just didn't pull off a Russian scientist. I mean, Ivan Vanko was supposed to be a genius scientist, like Tony Stark, and I don't know. Mickey Rourke just didn't pull it off for me. He just didn't pull off an evil scientist for me, and so I couldn't wrap my head around him as an evil scientist. Ivan Vanko, uh, he was more, and at the end when he was in his big suit with the whiplashes, that looked more like Crimson Dynamo than Whiplash. Um, I just didn't like him. I mean, his accent was bad, and it just it just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. So now we are at the number one. I'm going to do the villain first because the number one, the best MCU villain is great. I want to save him for last. So we're going to do the number one worst villain in the MCU, and that is Malekith from Thor: The Dark World. And you shouldn't be surprised because I've said before that I hate Dark World. Malekith was awful, and I've said before in the past that a lot of villains were awful, but Malekith was just awful. It just and the movie was just awful. I can't stand the Dark World. Now, when I binge watch the MCU, I do watch the Dark World, but I make sure I'm doing something else when I'm watching it because I just I can't sit and watch it without doing something else. But Malekith just it ruined. He just the villain was just. I mean, his sidekick Curse was the better villain than Malekith in the movie, um, and I just I just couldn't get my head around Malekith. He just was awful. He just and so that's all I have to say about Malekith. He's my number one worst villain in the MCU, and so now we at the number one best MCU villain. Now you shouldn't be surprised because I haven't mentioned him yet, and I know he's not really a villain now, but he started out as a villain, and I think he's the best villain in the MCU, and that's Loki, the God of Mischief. I had to put him over Thanos. He was just in all the movies he was in, he was spectacular, and Tom Hiddleston brought it to life from Avengers 1 to even Dark World that he was in, and Ragnarok when he turned around his he was in Ragnarok. He kind of turned around his character in Ragnarok is being good, helping Thor to beat Hela, and then Infinity War, and then of course, the Loki series, which kind of rejuvenated his character from being evil. So he went from bad to good. I know he's kind of good now as God Loki, ahead of the timeline, head of the timeline at the end of Loki season 2. But he started out as a villain, so I had to put him number one. I had to put him at number one as the best villain because he just and it helped because Tom Hiddleston was great in the role. And I heard a rumor originally he wasn't even he originally he wasn't the number one guy they wanted for Loki. There was somebody else that was supposed to play the role, and that guy backed out, and Tom Hiddleston got the job. So luckily, I don't know who that guy was. I haven't heard who it was, but I'm glad Hiddleston got the job because he killed it, and that's why I know he's not a villain now. He's God Loki, but I had to put him at number one as the best villain because he just and everything he did from Avengers 1 to Infinity War, Endgame, and then the Loki series. He just he killed it. And another thing I wanted to ask him, another thing about Loki is where the now originally he was supposed to have scenes in Age of Ultron, and they cut them. Where are those? I mean, are they out there somewhere we can watch them? I mean, I know I've looked on YouTube and they're not there. I just wondered what if they were if they filmed the scenes and you could find them somewhere, but I just wondered because I know I heard he was supposed to be in it and they cut him from the movie, but I would have liked to seen what he did in that movie to help him. And then just a couple other things before I go. Um, I just like to say about some of the things coming up now about the MCU, and they've postponed Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars to December of 26 and 27. I don't think that's going to hurt the movies. I think it might help them. I think it might help them because they have more time to get the movies right, like so they can be comparable to Endgame. Uh, and What's up, Ed? How you doing? I'm just finishing up. Uh, uh, just having some time just talking about the MCU. Just uh, just my list again. I'll go through the list again if you come here late. Number one, best villain was Loki. Number two was Thanos. Number three was Killmonger. Number four was Cassandra Nova. Number five was Kingpin. Number six was Kilgrave from the Jessica Jones series. Seven was Red Hulk. Eight was Abomination. Nine was Alexander Pierce, and 10 was Kang. So having some fun time here, just talking about the thing I love. One of the things I love, other than MCU, the Dolphins, and GI Joe. But there's a lot of things going around about the MCU now. I just like to talk about stuff I love. So thanks, Ed. Thanks. All right. I hope I did all right. But I just I just like to share my opinion. I mean, it's uh, so so next month in June is the Ironheart series. Yeah, my whole family is a Dolphins fan. Yeah, grew up. My dad was a Dolphins fan. Yeah, I don't hate the Bills. I just, I love the Dolphins, but used to love those rivalries with Marino and Kelly. But the Ironheart series should be interesting. I know they shelved it for a while, and so I'm gonna watch it just because I watched everything. But I don't know much about Ironheart except for that she was in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So yeah, the Dolphins and Bills are a good rivalry. Always, yeah, I think we're getting that rivalry back a little with Josh Allen and Tua, if Tua can stay healthy, that is. But and I'm just trying to kill time. Talking about anything you want to talk about. I did visit. Hey, Ed, I did visit that Good Gridiron Studios website this morning. As they are really good. I'm interested in a couple things. Uh, but uh, but so so the MCU is just, you just got to give it time to get back. Uh, and, yeah, yeah, there was. I'm looking for a. I don't know. I thought I saw. I'm looking for one of those classified GSO biovac things. I think a tent with a cot. I like a classified one. I thought I saw one somewhere, classified style, but Gridiron Studios. But maybe I didn't see it right. But um, they got a lot of nice stuff in there. Some of those vehicles they make, whew, they're nice. They are pricey, but hey, if it's good, I don't care about the price. I'll pay the price. They look damn good. So that I like that. I like that. Okay, I'll have to keep looking. I thought I saw one on Toy Connections YouTube, but I don't know. Maybe it was something different. But yeah, I like that. I like the Gridiron. It was a winter Jeep for the snow Jeep. That looked really cool. That I might have to look into. That looks awesome. But uh, I think I'm gonna end the stream right now. Sorry. Um, I don't have much to say. But sorry. But I was just I'm trying to figure out when I yeah, it is awesome. I'm trying to figure out when I can do a weekly stream. I don't want to interfere with anybody else's uh, show. Talk about anything I like, MCU, GI Joe figurines. Just figure out when I can do it. Uh, but, this was fun. So I think I'm going to end there. Ed. Sorry. Um, uh, okay. I think I'm going to end the stream. There's a clubhouse tonight, right? Hey there, Ed. I see it tonight at the clubhouse. Maybe I can get on with you guys. So later, everybody. Thanks Ed for stopping in, and hope you can watch the replay. Like and subscribe. And like Beast says, oh my stars and garters. See you later.